And now we are live with episode 1 of Guest. Fuck, bud. That sounds so nice. Okay. So, we're going to start here with some introductions and stuff. I'm Gigabit Gaming. I'm sure many of you have seen me on Twitch, Discord, whatever. And then I'll let you take it over now, Tommy.
So my name's TommyNaysh. I got a bachelor's in computer science, information technology. Right now I am a GIS analyst. And you can follow me on all my socials, Instagram, Twitter,
I'll put the links up there on the screen for both of us
Instagram,
here.
Twitter, Twitch. That's all just TommyNaysh, no space, nothing like that.
Well, I guess...
And I stream on Twitch. That's about it.
You only really got 2 options now anyways, really, YouTube and Twitch. Not many people are on the Facebook stuff.
Yeah, I guess you can go to Facebook if you want to, but that's more so I feel like you're reaching out to people that you know and your family and stuff, and then you got to try to build a community off of that.
Yeah. So for myself, I am a computer networking and security technician. Essentially, I do home and business Wi-Fi installations for access points as well as camera systems and that kind of thing. Nothing too advanced, but I mean, it's still stuff that people need in their homes. You can actually see right here my diploma in computer networking and technology. So yeah, yeah, got him there, little boy. A little brag. You gotta have that stuff there, man.
There you go. I gotta hang mine up.
Why haven't you?
It's just in my bedroom. It's just kind of sitting there on a shelf. I should probably get a frame for it and hang it up. Put it right smack dab right there.
I think it looks really nice to have an accomplishment up on the wall. If someone comes
That's a
over,
good
they
idea.
can just look at it, and then they're like, "Man, this guy knows what's going on." So yeah, we got some topics here that we can discuss. We just kind of want to get through our introduction as well, and I want to touch on that this is also going to be a weekly podcast. I'm not sure exactly what date we're going to do. Obviously, today is Monday, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be going up Monday, if not Tuesday, but you're watching this, so you'll know.
Yeah.
But essentially, we're going to try and target, I think, early in the week for an upload.
Yeah, I was thinking if we can either record the podcast on Sunday or Monday and then release it for a Tuesday at the latest. That way you got some content to listen to and then we can work on for the next week episode. But this podcast is called G.E.S.T Podcast. And you may wonder what the heck is G.E.S.T? And that stands for gaming, esports, streaming, and technology. And we're going to be talking about all 4 of those things every podcast. We're going to get news from each thing. It's going to be updated weekly. We're going to have some great things, some great topics. And I mean, we're filled with news today. This is our very first episode. So Giga, what are some things that you're interested about talking to today?
My biggest thing is definitely RTX. The new 3000 series looks just phenomenal. There's a lot of news related with that's been coming out more and more. And I guess less mainstream, but more personal to me is Series M4 is coming out this month, and I'm very stoked to play that game, as well as new information on Wi-Fi 6 and a newer revision that is going to be coming out in about a year or so, which is also really exciting for myself personally. What about you, Tommy? What do you got on here that you're really looking forward to talking about?
So I'm pretty excited to talk about some of the October releases. We got some good games coming out there. I want to talk about the new Call of Duty coming out, which is I think coming out in November, right? And then
I think so.
just some debatable topics like game prices going up, the Epic Games versus Apple debate, and we got some esports and streaming news in there as well that we're gonna touch up on.
I think we decided that we're going to start on the RTX stuff, which to me is I think kind of like the biggest new hot thing right now, because everyone in PC gaming is like nutting over this stuff, and I don't blame them. It's very good new stuff. So
The thing that makes me most excited is the price points.
yeah, so we have the RTX 3070, which is and proven to perform about the same as a 2080 Ti, and it's about $500. And compared, like a 2080 Ti was like what, $1,500 US or $1,400?
I was gonna say it was basically more than double the price.
And the 3070 performance-wise, very good. Digital Foundry has a video, and I'll put that link in the description for you guys to watch. Has a video on their performance in look that they have, and Nvidia wouldn't let them share specific FPS numbers, but they did compare it to a 2080 Ti, and this was a 3080 versus that. and all the games that they tested were 4K at max settings, and they were hitting like anywhere between 70 and 95% faster than a 2080 Ti, which is for $700 is insane, especially when you're talking like max settings 4K, because you're just going to be able to do anything you want at that point.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not gaming at 4K, like 1080p, like CS:GO and games like that. Like now, your biggest bottleneck is going to be your CPU for sure. That the GPUs are so powerful.
Mm-hmm. And then they're saying that the 3080, right, is twice as powerful as the 2080 Ti.
Yeah, they're saying it's about 100% faster, and Digital Foundry's testing didn't show that yet. But keep in mind, drivers are early, and these are early samples of the cards, so performance can still definitely go up, I think. And spec wise, like it's just nuts. Like the 3080 is 8704 CUDA cores with a boost clock of 1.7 gigahertz and 10 gigabytes of GDDR6X. So you're talking memory speeds that were like I think 19.5 gigabit per second, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that sounds insane. They're also drawing in a lot of power, 320 watts.
Yeah,
kind of insane.
Asus, I was looking at their website earlier, suggests having at least a power supply about 750 to 850 watt because their model is pre-overclocked and is going to draw about 400 watts when it's full load. Yeah, so that's a lot. Insane. Yeah, but even like the 3090, which to me it's in a weird spot because it's priced really premium like, and it jumps from 10 gigabytes of VRAM from the 3080 all the way up to 24, and you're like, you know, most games don't require more than 6, so shooting up to 24 gigabytes is like crazy, and that's why the price tag's so high. It's got a really big premium.
That I just don't think that the 3090 is going to be like needed for video games for so long. Like that's like for some like high resolution video processing or something like that, would you say?
Like they even have a graph that Nvidia's released at 8K high settings, RTX on if the game has RTX, and they're showing their FPS metrics for their averages. Mm-hmm. And now they don't really get too in depth on the whole system and everything they use, but just to put in perspective, Rocket League 108 FPS average at 8K, Rainbow Six Siege 72 FPS, Apex Legends 65, Destiny 2 60. And even a game like Control, now this is using DLSS because Control without DLSS is like 10 FPS at 8K, but it's almost 60 when DLSS is on, and that is just wild. The fact that 6 months ago, if you had said like, "Oh man, like when do you think we're gonna be like gaming in 8K?" I'd laugh at you. I'd be like, "That is ridiculous! Like not for any long time. Like it's gonna be forever. Like 5+ years easy before we even think about it." And now, straight here.
And for the viewers, can you explain what DLSS means? Because I don't even know if I'm sure what that stands for.
It's I think it's called Deep Learning Super Sampling, and it's a new method that NVIDIA is using that's AI based to control anti-aliasing in game, and by using that over like regular TAA or any other kind of anti-aliasing, it gives massive performance increases versus standard anti-aliasing tech.
Okay.
And this is why, even if AMD's graphics cards that come out, like the big Navi stuff, is really good. Like, let's say they have one that can perform like a 3080. It doesn't have DLSS, and it doesn't have new NVENC, which for me personally is a huge reason why I'm going to buy it. Because then I can go to NVENC, which, you know, a lot of people, if you're not too into streaming, you might not know, but it does actually look better than a medium preset X264, which is like pretty much the best that you can reasonably do on X264. So that is a huge benefit for myself that I can swap over to GPU encoding instead of CPU.
And another thing is the 8K. Like, I don't even think I've seen anything in 8K so far. So, like, that's just going to be, like, I've barely seen 4K the way it is. And moving over to 8K, like, I can't wait to see something be played in 8K.
There's only...
Because that just honestly just sounds insane.
Like, Linus has a video where they game in 8K, but it uses, like, I think 16 different displays, and NVIDIA's, I don't remember what the tech's called, but it's, oh my god, it's right on the tip of my tongue. That's actually really going to piss me off. Mosaic, I think is what it is, NVIDIA Mosaic, which is, like, the same thing that people in, like, stadiums will use to control like a huge monitor, because when you
Okay.
think, that's not like one huge panel, it's a bunch of
Yeah,
different
yeah.
little ones. And Mosaic allows it to control it as it's one. So it gets rid of, as best it can, the bezels and stuff like that. And that's why you get a better looking image. And that's what they used to game on. And that was nuts. In fact, I think they went all the way up to 16K with like 4 2080 Ti's or something like that. But anyways, that didn't actually go that well for them.
That's just wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically look forward to some new graphics card. When are they set to release?
It should be in a month or two. I don't think there's, to my knowledge, I don't think there's like a release date at the moment. But I think it's within a month or two.
Okay.
Probably won't be getting any partner cards for 2 months. I don't know if any of them are coming out right on launch. Maybe like Asus or EVGA has one that's going to come out right on launch, but there's going to be some other ones that are going to go a little later. But that's okay. If they can stay at their MSRP of like 500 and 700 respectively for the 3070 and 3080, that's going to be wild.
Absolutely.
But if you're looking at like 3080s that are like 1,000, that's not that great of a deal compared to 700. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about building a newer PC next year. So I'm excited to see what else is going to be added with, especially the 3070, 3080 price points. Uh, Not by this time, but probably like June of next year. I'm going to be looking to build a new PC. So I'll be excited to see what's going on then.
Even
Is there anything else that? Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's not directly. I mean, it kind of is, but like used cards now, like GPUs and stuff, are going for like dirt cheap. Like people selling 2080 Ti's for like $400 used.
I did see that there was like a
Like
mass selling of their 2080s going on right now because people are just ready for the 3080s and
that's
whatnot.
insane. Because like now, if you're trying to build a budget PC for like let's say $600, and you can
Yeah.
buy like a 2080 for $300, like that's insane. Like your deal's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. It's it kills consoles off too, because why would you bother buying a console if I can get a cheap PC that costs similar to a console but it performs way better?
Yeah. Uh, so that being said, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about tech wise?
The RTX stuff's pretty much the biggest thing. I mean, I have some stuff on Wi-Fi here, but that Wi-Fi 6E, I could touch on that just for a brief moment. It's not crazy yet. So like, the current Wi-Fi standard is Wi-Fi 5 or AC Wi-Fi. The new
Okay.
standard is Wi-Fi 6 or AX. So they use 802.11 AC in most of your devices. Your phone would be AC. A Wi-Fi card that you buy for your computer would be AC.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're deliberately trying to find 802.11 AX or Wi-Fi 6 devices, they're not that mainstream yet. Higher end routers that it might be like $400 or $500 would have AX Wi-Fi. And the advantages over that versus AC are that they're able to handle more devices at once and more bandwidth at the same time. Wi-Fi 6E is even going to improve upon Wi-Fi 6 even further, and that's going to allow it to communicate with even more devices at the same time, and it's using the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi band instead of 5. So it does support 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, but also 6 gigahertz. And the reason why that's so important is because there's no devices currently in the market that are on 6 gigahertz. So only new devices and Wi-Fi 6E capable access points are going to be able to use the 6 gigahertz band. So that means it's going to be a really clean channel with like zero interference. Because imagine
Okay.
if you're trying to connect to an access point and you're the only one on this channel, your connection is going to be phenomenal. And 6 gigahertz is going to give you even more speed than 5 at obviously slightly lower range. Big reason why this is exciting though is for wireless VR tech that can now tap into the 6 gigahertz range on the headsets for newer ones, and that'll allow even faster data transfer and an even more seamless experience when you're using a wireless headset.
Okay, so like a shorter response time, you're saying?
Yeah, it just can handle more bandwidth at once, and obviously when you're doing VR and you're trying to send video through the air, that's a lot of bandwidth, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I honestly need to do some brushing up on networking. That's one of the things I'm interested in, but right now I know nothing because I just graduated college and kind of said screw it for now.
Yeah.
But I do want to brush up on my networking and security type things. I'm thinking about going for some certifications because, well, I mean, there's no better time than now, especially with COVID, working from home and everything. Might as well try to aim for something like that.
Even if you just shoot for your basics, like A+ and stuff right now, just to prove that you have that, like that puts you head and shoulders above an application that doesn't have it for a job type thing. So
absolutely.
I guess we can swap over to some gaming news now. You were talking about Among Us and Fall Guys that you had here in the notes and stuff, and some other games that were coming out.
Yeah, so we'll do a little switch over to gaming right now. Basically, what I was looking at and experiencing myself are the hot video games right now, which are basically Among Us, Fall Guys, Warzone, Valorant. Those are basically, I mean, still Fortnite. Fortnite's always going to be up there, but those are mainly the mainstream games being played right now. Among Us is actually insane, and we can get further into that when we hop into the streaming section. But Among Us has been out for like 2 years now, and right now it's just reached its peak popularity.
I really thought it just came out. I never heard of it before until it got big.
It has like 100,000 active players at least at a time now, and it's been out for 2 years, and it's all because, at least in my eyes, it's because XQC started streaming it with his boys. Other streamers caught wind of it. Everybody started playing and streaming it. Bada boom, bada bing.
This is
you got yourself a hit game.
I think a lot of game developers are like, screw advertising online. That's not going to help me. Like putting an ad banner on this website, that won't help me. Even running TV ads, that's not going to do anything for me. What will do it for me is if I pay X streamer, whoever, a bunch of cash to play my game. If you pay Dr. Disrespect 20 grand to stream your game for 4 hours, you definitely make that back. Because 4 hours of Dr. Disrespect streaming to like 50 to 100,000 people at a time, that's going to generate so much stuff on Twitter and so much stuff on YouTube and everything in the streamers and on the Reddit and everything. That's going to make that money back in like no time, because the moment people start picking it up, if you have any microtransactions or if the game costs X dollars or whatever, people buy that stuff all the time, like especially if the game isn't free to play. So
that's the thing. I think Among Us and Fall Guys, I think they kind of got away with it because they didn't. I don't think they basically sold an advertisement to a streamer saying, "Hey, play this, we'll give you money." I just think the streamer ended up playing Among Us, and then everyone's like, "Hey, this game actually looks like it's really fun." And like the developers of Among Us, they had no clue this was going to happen. They're like, our servers are full to capacity. Like, we don't know what to do right now.
Yeah, like buy more stuff so we can get more servers, boys. How much is the game, anyways?
The game is only $5 right now, so you can get the game for $5. Play with up to 10 people at a time, and as of lately, I've been having to connect to the Europe and Asia servers because North America has just been full all the time.
I guess it wouldn't be much of a latency-sensitive game, though, so it shouldn't really bug you too much.
Yeah, so the only thing is the imposter, which they call in the game, who's trying to kill all the crewmates before they complete their tasks. He has a kill radius, which you can shorten it. You can shorten the kill radius to short, but with the ping, if you're playing on like a Europe or Asia server, it looks like the killer killed you from like 10 feet away.
You're like, this makes no sense, yeah.
But that being said, let's move on to Fall Guys. I mean, that game has been trending all over Twitter.
Never played.
Everywhere for the past month or two.
So I don't have any, like, besides from watching it a bunch, which I have, because it's hard to not watch Fall Guys if you scroll Twitter or anything and see some of the clips.
It's everywhere.
It's like ginormous. It's probably the biggest game out there right now, and I think a lot of that is due to their social media manager on Twitter. Was
doing a great job.
Really smart guy, and he seemed to really know how to hook people in and get people talking about it, which is really strong. And doing this whole thing with like Tim the Tatman, which, like, you gotta know, it was obviously staged. Like, they obviously DM'd and discussed, like, I'm gonna make these tweets that are gonna shit on you, Tim, but it's gonna help you and help me. And then you're gonna, like, Tim, he had a huge viewers, and when he finally got that dub, man, there was so many people watching him on Twitch. It was crazy. Every time he played, it was wild. He was pulling in money left and right, and the Fall Guys popularity alone off that was crazy. So
it's just like they're coming out with little updates. I mean, during the the Gamescom conference, they had a trailer for the season 2 of Fall Guys, which is going medieval and stuff like that. But one of the big things is, just like I think it was less than a week ago, they put out a Twitter post of literally it's just a swinging hammer that they're adding to different levels of a game randomly, and they named it Big Yeetus. And that instantly got trending on Twitter. Like everybody was so excited about this. It's just like, hey, let's just throw this one singular item into our Fall Guys game, and
It'll blow up. Everyone will love it.
It was like, oh, this changes the game completely.
Yeah.
Can't wait for this big hammer, swinging hammer, to help me or make me do worse at a game.
I used to watch a lot of Wipeout as a kid. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, but
oh yeah,
the game is like just like that. It's actually like to a T, and people love that stuff, man. Like,
or if you
crazy.
remember MXC.
I don't know what that is.
No, MXC was like an Asian version of Wipeout, but it had English dubbed over. And I think it was on like MTV and stuff like that, but it was just super funny and literally Fall Guys in real life. I'm pretty sure they ripped the main idea of one of the mini games in Fall Guys is where you have to break through the doors to get all the way to the end. That was literally in MXC, and people had to do that. And it's just funny to see real people just flinging themselves into doors and nothing happening.
It's really funny to see it in the game too.
Yeah,
I think
I have a great time playing it.
I think their biggest issue now that they have their server sorted out, is definitely the cheaters. Like, PC is rampant with cheaters, and it's sad because it's really easy to do. Like, you could just load up Cheat Engine on your computer and just change the game files, and now you're quadruple speed and you can fly and do all this crazy stuff. And they're supposed to be adding an anti-cheat, I think, in a week, but let's be honest, like, it might give you like a week of peace of mind, and then the cheating's probably going to be back to not the same, but less.
I wouldn't think to see cheating in Fall Guys. I never expected that to happen, but then I guess I wasn't thinking because people cheat on every single computer game possible.
Oh my god, it's like crazy, dude. Like, there's people that'll cheat against like the AI and stuff in like games, like cheating in single player games. Like, what's the point, man? Like, there's just no fun. Anyone who does that, honestly, it's beyond pathetic. And I think worldwide, and the laws have to change around online cheating in video games, because as it is now,
I agree.
Like,
absolutely,
there's no real penalty. Like, they'll ban you, sure, but there should be like a law against it. Like, you're ruining other people's fun. Like,
especially when money's on the line.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll be banned from leagues and stuff, but they normally don't get like charged. So
yeah, I guess one of the examples of cheaters being online is like Warzone tournaments, because they just hop into a lobby with other people playing the game. They don't have private lobbies for Warzone. So when they're hopping in games, they're facing cheaters, and then it's like, well, there's my shot at a good game being missed because I got killed from a cheater, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah,
and that just made me lose all this money that I'm possibly able to be earned.
Yeah, like, I play Siege a ton, and cheating in there is decent now. It's gotten better, but I mean, obviously, there's still people that cheat.
Yeah.
And it just ruins the game, because half the time they're like closeted cheaters. So they're like, you're like, oh man, like, have this guy know where I was, and that's because he like turned his wall hacks on for just a second, and then he came into the room and killed you. And it's like, man, like, come on, like this. And that's even worse. Like, I'd rather it be blatant, because at least if it's blatant, I'm like, oh, this game's a write-off, whatever. But if I like play a hard-fought game and I waste an hour of my time against some piece of shit who was cheating, but he didn't want to be like caught, oh my god, like, that's 100 times worse. That's so annoying.
Just like yesterday, I was playing multiplayer Call of Duty last night, and we were playing Headquarters or something like that, and we're like, how is this guy just peeking corners and killing all of us? He got the game-winning kill cam at the end, and he's just lasering everybody through smoke, through walls, and everything. We're like, oh, okay, so he was cheating. He was blatantly cheating, and he wasn't even hiding it.
That's funny.
That being said, there's also a couple games that came out last week, that being Tony Hawk 1 and 2 Remastered, which I know for a lot of people, it's straight nostalgia. I personally, it'll give me a lot of nostalgia, but I haven't purchased it yet. I'll probably get it next week or something like that.
I've played them, but I never, like, even now, I'm like, it's whatever. Like, they're good games, don't get me wrong, but I'm not into skateboarding anymore type thing, like I was as a kid, so doesn't really bug me.
It's definitely a game that's going to be fun to play for during your free time. Like, I guess if you don't want to if you don't want to be a multiplayer sweat lord for a day or something like that, and you just
Yeah.
want to hop in some Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
I mean, this Tony Hawk does have multiplayer too, but it's probably more of like a relaxing, fun, arcadey style game.
Yeah, I saw some multiplayer stuff, and it was just essentially like first person to get the highest combo wins, and then they
Yeah.
like go up to like a combo number, and like that's not too insane like competitive wise. It's not like you have to run this guy off his skateboard and bash his skull in while he's on the ground. Like it's not like that.
That being said, they added a bunch of customization options. You now get like your account level up. What else was I gonna say? Plus, having 1 and 2 remastered on one single game, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what I was gonna say was the soundtracks. You can like all the soundtracks from the old Tony Hawk's games are in the remastered version, and you can create your own playlists and stuff in the game, which is, I mean, probably one of the main points why I want the game.
That's huge. Like to be able to be like, oh, I don't like this song, so I'm gonna cut this one, but I really like these songs, so I'm just gonna make my own playlist. That's like all the songs I really like. That way, you don't have to listen to any duds.
Another game that was just released is Marvel Avengers. This game did have a pretty rocky beta, or when the demo came out, because it was just glitches galore.
Yeah.
Your guy's face was disappearing with just his eyes, and just stuff wasn't working. And now they came out with the game, and it seems like some of those glitches are still there, but I'm hearing a lot of positive reviews from my friends who are playing it right now.
The people that I've heard play it say it's great when it works, but there's times where like some attacks just don't work, or like just you try and do something and it just doesn't happen, and obviously the visual glitches and stuff too are still there.
I was actually watching a buddy play it, and he was in like a training mission where he had to block a certain attack from an enemy, and the enemy just was standing there, not attacking him. So he had to restart the mission or back out of it completely because training mission bots just weren't working at all.
That's so stupid.
But that's basically what's came out recently that is notable, in my opinion. Is there anything that you know of that just came out?
No, I just know the stuff that's coming out pretty soon, like the new Call of Duty and stuff, and Serious Sam, as I mentioned earlier, and a few other games too that you have here in your Star Wars Squadrons. Is that not out yet? I thought that was, or is that the flying one? That's the flying one, isn't it?
Yeah. So we can talk about games coming soon right now. So the October notable releases, Star Wars Squadron does come out in October. It is the game that I'm pretty sure that it's only flying.
Yeah, I think so too.
Honestly interests me a lot. Like I'm probably 100% going to get that game on launch day, just because I'm interested in that.
Like, if it's anything like War Thunder, which is a really good game, then I'll probably pick it up, honestly, because I really like playing War Thunder. And even Battlefield, like 3 especially, was so fun to get into like an attack chopper and jets and stuff and fly around. And like, you don't have the shooting people on the ground that you do in this, or in Battlefield, I should say. Like, that won't be in Squadrons, and that was always fun to do. But, dogfighting in planes and stuff, like, that's really fun.
So there was a Star Wars Rogue Squadron that came out in 1998, and it was for the Nintendo 64.
I wasn't even born then.
So this is 100% a remake, and I'm sure there's going to be a single player and multiplayer. Story wise, it looks like it goes pretty in depth, and it's going to be a day one purchase for me. Absolutely.
Is it a full price game, or?
Oh yeah, it's going to be full price for sure.
Okay. That's not so hot on my radar then. If it's that much Canadian
money.
You're
not a fan of the full price games?
Well, it's a lot. It's like $80 easy or more in Canadian rupees. So
yeah, I guess it is worth mentioning that I'm from the United States, Gigabit's from Canada, so we're talking to each other across the border here. Another game that's coming out in October that was just announced was Super Mario 3D All Stars, which is Super Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy, all on one game. It's going to be on the Nintendo Switch. It still has the full price point of $60, and they did advertise that the window sizes are going to be bigger and stuff, but a lot of people are giving it backlash because it's not going to be like full HD it's $60 for 3 older games. And where the hell is Super Mario Galaxy 2? Why are they only bringing Super Mario Galaxy 1?
What I don't understand is Nintendo's been milking Super Mario now for decades. Like, are they ever going to get something new? Or is this just it forever? Like, will Nintendo die on this Mario hill? Because eventually people just be like, oh, yeah, like, I don't really care anymore.
I think that Nintendo will die on the Mario hill. They're just gonna keep going with it, and it's working. I'm excited to play every Mario game that comes out, basically. I got Mario Maker 2. I got Odyssey. That was probably one of the best Switch games I ever played. But I'm not going to lie, I do enjoy the Mario hype, and I do hope they continue it in a lot cooler ways. I mean, the Paper Mario just came out too, Origami King. So that's another Mario game that just came out. They're going to keep going with it.
I think the reason why I'm not super into it myself is growing up as a kid, it was like Sega Dreamcast was the first thing we ever had. And then we went from that to PS2. So I was like never really into the Nintendo stuff.
Neither was I.
And I was just like, like I don't really care. I used to play this stupid old Madden game on the Dreamcast. Like it was so old. And I had a thing where I could just run a Hail Mary play every time and guarantee a touchdown. So I'd be putting up like 3-digit numbers like at the end of a game because I would just score every time I had possession for free. And oh man, the Dreamcast. If I were to play it now, I'd probably be like, man, this is really bad. But looking back on it, I was like, man, this is so cool.
I actually remember going to, I think it was a Circuit City, which no longer exists, but I wanted a Dreamcast so bad. So I went with my mom, and she was going to get me one, but they were sold out where I went to. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm not getting a Dreamcast. My mom's like, we're not checking anywhere else. Like, you're screwed. But yeah, I never did play a Dreamcast. I never owned one. So that being said,
this game, I don't know, anyone listening probably won't remember, but it was called Slave Zero. And it was essentially, I don't remember the story that well because I was really young, but you were this ginormous robot. I'm talking like the buildings were like up to your like knee. You were so big. And cars were like this big. They were like tiny, dude. And you were walking on like highways and stuff, and you would be stomping the cars and just destroying stuff. And there'd be huge enemies too, and you'd have like miniguns on your shoulders, if I'm remembering it correctly. And you were just mowing everything. It was so cool, man. Like thinking about back at this old stuff that you used to play when you were a kid, you're like, oh, where'd the good stuff go? You know?
Honestly, back in the day, I had the PlayStation 1. And one of the main games I played on there was Arcade Classic, so it's even bringing it further back. But I was playing like Robotron and Sinistar and Joust on the PS1, and those were like my main games, along with like Dynasty Warrior. And then we hop onto the PS2, had a terrific time there. We also had a Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. So that was my Nintendo realm right there, the Game Boy.
What's the Game Boy that doesn't have the flip screen? It's like a handheld?
That's the Advance. And then the one with the flip screen is the SP.
Okay, I had the Advanced.
Yeah, I got that for my birthday one year. I remember my parents got me it, and it was one of like the see-through cases.
Oh yeah.
So like you can see like the components in the back of it and everything. It was super exciting. Game Boy Advance was honestly one of the coolest portable systems to ever come out.
The Switch is really cool. I had a PSP, which I really liked.
Same.
And it's the Vita didn't really take off, and now Sony's like, yeah, I'm never doing this shit again because it sucks. But
I ended up going through all of them. I had the PSP, I had the Vita for a little while, but ended up getting rid of both of them.
They just weren't that good. Like the games on them weren't amazing. Like that's the thing is, even though the hardware was decent, like I never had a bad time on my PSP. Like with the PSP itself, it's just like there's no games. Like what do I play? Like it's like 20 games.
I remember the PSP when that came out. You remember the cartridges for that? How it had like the little tiny
circle discs. Yeah, and you'd slide them in the back.
Yeah, it had like the plastic covering over it, so you couldn't like get the disc scratched and whatnot.
Just, like,
it was a pretty cool concept.
Yeah. It's
That being said, though, for going back to Super Mario 3D All Stars, I just want to touch up on one thing. I never really played Super Mario 64 that much because I never owned a 64. So I'm excited to actually go through that game from beginning to end for the first time. Sunshine, I played a ton, so probably won't play that one as much as unless I want to like go through the complete game again. And Super Mario Galaxy, never played it, so I want to go through that game from beginning to end. So that that game to me is worth $60. Super Mario All Stars. I'm gonna get it probably the day it comes out because it's just worth it for me.
my girlfriend has a Switch, so she'll probably get it, and I'll play them when I'm over there next time or whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's a good way to try it out at least.
Another game coming out in October, Crash Bandicoot 4. So have you played the other ones or?
I've played some of them, but never for like full completion. Being a kid and stuff is like,
oh yeah,
go rent a game for the weekend. Because that was the thing to do, is go rent games.
Go head on down to the Blockbuster, rent yourself some Crash Bandicoot for what is it, like 5 days or a week, and then however far you got to return it. So
my parents were so
you got
cheap.
To enjoy it.
We'd only do like the weekend rentals. So you rent it Friday, and that'd be like after work, and then you got to run it back to the store like Monday morning.
Yeah.
And so there's never enough time, even like grinding 8 hours a day to like finish most of these games.
But yeah, I am excited for Crash Bandicoot 4. I played 1 through 3 as a child, and then I got the remastered and played those again. And I never realized how hard Crash Bandicoot 1 actually was until I played the remastered version. I was like, I don't think I ever beat this as a child because I'm having trouble beating it right now.
Yeah, like
extremely hard.
Was I faster as a kid? Like, was I quicker on the controller? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I ended up beating Crash Bandicoot 1, and then I started 2, but I never finished the remastered 2 or 3. That being said, I have played them all, whether it be as a child or now, and I'm excited for Crash Bandicoot 4 because it's going to be the same style game. They're trying to keep it true to the originals, and just looking forward to it. Probably another day one buy for me.
You got a lot of day one buys. Deep pockets, bud?
I don't have deep pockets. That's the problem.
Deep credit card pockets.
Deep credit cards. There we go.
Yeah, and then
that's the way to put it.
And then Black Ops Cold War, man. That actually looks really good.
Yeah, it's coming out in November. I don't know. Did you see the leaked gameplay?
I watched
gameplay,
and I watched the trailers, and to me, it gives me these kind of like Black Ops 1 vibes. And the story in Black Ops 1 was so good. Like, the numbers Mason, and then, like, you're in that room where, like, the main menu was. And at my age, when I played Black Ops 1 at, like, launch, I thought, like, being locked in that chair and then, like, having to get out was, like, the coolest thing they could do in the menu. And then you could actually get up and walk around. I was like, oh, my God. And zombies. Oh, the whole game was just so good.
Coming back. They say all new zombies experience. I wonder how they're going to do it, but I'm excited to play some zombies.
Modded zombies. And the amount of like perks and other things that they've added in over time and like modded zombies is wild. And the fact that it's all like open and people can make maps is the only reason why zombies is so good. Because imagine if you only had like 30 maps to pick from. That would suck. Because if you played enough zombies, you'd just be bored of them all.
There's some people who are so addicted to zombies, like that's their main game.
You're just playing
and I understand why. I enjoy playing it a couple times. And then, like, if we have a good run where we get up to, like, a very high round and then we lose, I don't really get the interest to start over again right there. Like, I'll come back to it the next day or later on in the day, but I can't keep playing zombies.
The reason,
as fun as it is.
Like, another thing, too, is, like, a lot of these modded maps have buyable endings. So it's, like, 50,000 to end game or something, which is, like, awesome. Okay. Because then you don't die. You just beat the map, and now it's done. But if you don't have that, then it's just, do we just play till we die? I don't want to play for 8 hours today. Like, I just don't have the time.
That's where the whole Easter eggs come in. So, for certain zombies maps, like they have like a whole solvable Easter egg that happens throughout the entire game, and it's usually really hard to figure out what you have to do. But once you complete that, you're like, all right, well, I basically completed this zombies map, so. I can move on to the next one.
And that's why I think the buyable ending is so nice. because it gives you the choice. Like, oh, we could end the game right now, and then there's like our dub, or we could just keep playing until we die. And a lot of these maps also have Easter eggs too, and like stuff you got to complete just to unlock the viable ending.
Yeah.
So like that kind of thing is really nice because it because it gives you that like ability to have a different way to play. Oh my god, go away!
So one of the things about this Call of Duty that I'm kind of worried about is when I watched the leaked multiplayer gameplay, they showed the down but not out mechanic on the VIP escort multiplayer mode that they came out with. I'm really hoping that the down but not out mechanic is not in every game mode. I'm hoping it's just this VIP mode that they played. If it's in search and destroy, that's going to be pretty upsetting.
That's just the VIP mode.
I really hope so. That's what I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure, like I've played other games that have like similar modes, and like if the VIP will always go down, and I don't know about like it might depend, but definitely the VIP will go in this like down but not out state.
Yeah. So when I was watching, they were playing on the Miami map.
Yep.
And anybody that got killed would go to the down but not out map, not just like the VIP or anything like that. I think
that's definitely just that mode.
I hope so, honestly, because if they implement that to like search and destroy, I'll be pretty upset about it. That being said, the story for Black Ops Cold War looks like it's going to be somewhat true to history in a way.
Yeah.
And looks like it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. One of the main things about Call of Duties that I enjoy is the campaign modes. Like the most recent Modern Warfare, that campaign mode was godly. So much fun. I think that was probably the highlight of this Call of Duty that people really don't realize was how good the story mode was.
I really liked Modern Warfare 2 was kind of bland because that's like stuff in modern times. If you don't really have a deep story, it's kind of whatever. Modern Warfare 3 was the same thing. I really liked Black Ops 1. I thought like the whole thing with Mason and stuff was awesome, and then like I remember when you got the mission with the Spaz 12 Dragon's Breath, and when you picked that up, you were like, oh, I feel like a god. So running through that was like killer, and there was just so many good moments. And I know this might not be, this might be a bit of a hot take, but Advanced Warfare, the story was whatever, but I really liked the missions. You understand what I mean? Like the gameplay part was really cool, even if the story itself was kind of bad.
Yeah.
I remember you like snuck up on this guy that was on a car, and you put this like sound thing on the car, and it like made this like dome shield around the whole area. And there was another guy like 20 feet away, and you started like hand-to-hand combat with this guy at the car, and the guy 20 feet away like couldn't hear anything, and you were like bashing his head into the car and stuff. And I was like, man, that's so cool. Like I really like that. It's such a cool mechanic.
Yeah.
That tech exists, and that could be something that could happen in real life at some point too. You never know.
And you're probably never gonna guess this, but Call of Duty Cold War day one purchase for me.
Oh, I didn't know you buy games day one.
I think there hasn't been a Call of Duty that I haven't bought day one since probably like Call of Duty 3.
MW2,
every single one after that was a day one purchase.
MW2, I was a Christmas noob because I got my PS3 at Christmas.
The Christmas noobs.
MW3 was a day one though, and this is like before I had a job, so I was like, oh please, like I haven't asked for anything all year, I need this. And so anyway, yeah, with that,
Call of Duty Cold War, excited for that. Another thing, Rocket League going free to play, getting a huge update. Is that update out yet, or do you know when it comes out?
I think the game is in a bad state when it comes to like their microtransactions and stuff. Because how it works now is there's no more like getting the loot. You pretty much get boxes, and then you have to like pay to open them. So it's a lot harder to get direct loot, and there's no more trading. Like you used to be able to trade between players, you can't do that anymore.
Oh, you can't?
No. Like all the stuff that I got off my buddy because he would buy stuff, and if he got duplicates or whatever, he'd just give it to me. Or if he got something he didn't really like, he's like, "Oh, I'll just give it to you because you don't have it." And I'm like, "That's killer," but like now you can't do any of that. You haven't been able to do any of that for a long time.
That's something that I actually didn't know.
Yeah, it'll be Epic Games only once it goes free to play.
Oh yeah, it's getting off Steam, and what are they saying? They're adding more ranks past Grand Champion right now, called Supersonic Legend. How do you feel about that name, Supersonic Legend?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, I don't really think. I think most Grand Champs, if they grind enough, will just get up there anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
My one friend's actually kind of upset about it because he's like, my Grand Champ means nothing now because now there's Supersonic Legend. But yeah, Rocket League going free to play. That's big. It's big news. It's a fun game, especially if you can get it for free. Definitely going to be enjoyable.
That's the thing, is I think having a price for a game that requires a lot of skill to enjoy makes the barrier to entry like really hard. Because I'm like, man, look at all these good players, but if I bought this game today, I'm gonna suck, and these guys are gonna like stomp me. But now if it's free, you're like, oh, whatever, I'll just boot it up and play, because then it doesn't cost me anything to play it.
Yep, absolutely. One of the bigger debatable topics right now is game prices going up. And I know, especially for you, a new game in Canadian is like $80, and now we're bumping it up another 10.
It's probably going to be
that's like another 15 for you, right?
Yeah, they're probably going to be charging $100 a game, and it's going to be to the point where it's like, man, it's like, if I have like, I'm only going to be able to buy a game every couple of months, like,
yeah,
I'm not going to max my credit card out buying games, like that's stupid. Bad enough I already do it on hardware.
There's also some companies that are saying, hey, we're not bumping up the price. So games like Cyberpunk are going to stay at $60. And I mean, Cyberpunk, that's probably one of the games that I would easily pay $70 for, just because of how much it's being hyped up and stuff.
Might call that the day one purchase.
Yeah, that could be day one purchase. I'm not excited for Cyberpunk as much as my other friends are, but I probably will purchase it and play it. I think Ubisoft, could be wrong here. Might not be a factual statement. Just letting everybody know, but I think that Ubisoft is saying they're not going to be raising their games to $70.
That doesn't sound like a Ubi move.
It doesn't, but I think that's what I heard.
They might not. You never know.
Could be completely wrong. I can get some details and update you guys if I'm wrong there.
Really, their only game that makes the money these days is Siege. Every other game, like, you know, they just have their launch sales and that's it. But Siege has microtransactions with the cosmetics. That brings in way more money than you'd think. They made over $1 billion in it last year.
Yeah. Hyperscape too. Not sure if the game's dying or not. Haven't really heard anything about it, but I think
it's pretty much
they do have microtransactions right now, so. Besides that, though, Siege is probably their powerhouse. That's why they keep updating the shit out of it.
Yeah, I'm very excited for when they move everything over for the new sound rehaul that they should be doing within a year. Every update brings in more ways for them to like analyze how the sound works in the game better, so they can revamp the sound engine. Like they're completely rebuilding it. So that's going to be really nice, because right now sometimes sound is inconsistent. Because let's say, like right here, I have a window over there behind my. You can't see it on the camera, but it's behind over there. And then let's say there's someone below me, and if I were to like blow up that window, and then there's another window downstairs in the room underneath me. If someone makes noise underneath, it won't come like sound through the floor. Like let's say I made a hole in the floor, and then I looked down and I could see the guy underneath me. But if he made noise, it wouldn't go up through the hole in the floor. It would go out the window and then up and then into the other window. So I would look to my left at the window because that's where the noise is, even though he's right underneath me. And there's stuff like that happens all the time in the game, which is really annoying because it causes you to look the wrong way. Because the sound, it's called propagation. It doesn't go the right direction that it's supposed to go. It doesn't propagate properly, which is a real pain in the ass.
I could understand why that would be a pain for sure. I used to be a huge Siege buff, but I haven't played it in the longest time now, so I can't really comment on that. Besides that, gaming wise, before we wrap it up here, and I see that you put some notes here for Serious Sam 4. I know you're a big Serious Sam fan, so you're excited for this one.
Yeah, September 24th. It was supposed to be out already. Actually, release date initially was late August, but they delayed it. And I'm not too mad about that, because if they delay it a month and it comes out and they've, you know, like, sometimes it's just not their fault. Like if they find a bug that they're like, man, we can't release with this bug. We need to delay it until it's fixed. I'd much rather that than buy the game and then have to wait 2 weeks for them to fix something that ruins the game anyways. So
exactly. Agree with you 100% there.
And Cyberpunk is another example of a game that's been delayed, and that's a bit more of an extreme case. But again, that's a much bigger game and stuff. And
even Halo Infinite, I mean, they was supposed to be a flagship game with the release of their console. Now they're saying, hey, we're going to be releasing it next year. Sorry.
Yeah, it won't
and it's just like, that probably hurts Microsoft a lot.
Yeah. I think we got about 10 more minutes here to end on an even hour. So a couple notes here about Tencent that I think we could discuss about them losing $42 billion in market share after India bans PUBG Mobile. And I kind of have the notes up here for it now, which is a pretty interesting article. India, and as well as the United States, has been on like a hot trail of banning apps that they consider an issue with the government itself. Like the Indian government here says, activities that are prejudicial to the sovereignty and integrity of India, defense of India, security of state, and public order. So they consider like PUBG Mobile is a game that damages their like core values as a country to the point where they're like, we need to get rid of this. And that's they also banned 59 apps June 29th and 118 apps September 2nd, which like that's a lot of apps, man. Like apparently this game, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang, Clash of Kings, Arena of Valor, PUBG Mobile. Yeah, like we don't really.
There's a lot of gaming apps that are absolutely getting destroyed on the app stores right now. I mean, I'm not gonna get into it right now, but
Fortnite,
yeah, it's gone.
It's
from Apple
and Google. It's not in the Play Store either. So
Google took it too.
And I don't. We could get into that for a moment. I don't really blame either Google or Apple for their decision. These are stores. You're hosting in my store. They're allowed to take a cut. Like if I was to put something in a store to sell it, they would take a cut too. And if I was like, oh, you can't take a cut, then they're like, why are we selling it then? Why are we hosting this?
Yeah. Like, I absolutely understand that. At the same time, I feel like if Epic wants to say, hey, here's cheaper prices, come here, it shouldn't be that big of an issue because probably still at least 50% of the purchases are going to go through Apple anyway. I absolutely do understand both sides.
I'm not sure. I'm not completely if you might know, but on Apple devices, for example, like you can't, if it's not on the Apple Store, there's no other way to get it on a phone besides jailbreaking it.
Yeah. Yep.
So they couldn't, like there's just no way, like at least on like Google side of things and stuff for Android phones, they can just use like the APK file and install through that, or they can use a third-party store and get it off that, or they can just go straight to Fortnite's website and download it right on their phone, like directly from the APK essentially. But you can't do that on Apple. Like there's no way for them to load files up onto it, and that's because they've locked their ecosystem down so much for security reasons, and I understand why they've done that. Epic not wanting to lose 30% cut on profits, it just kind of shows greed when you look at it that way. Like they're trying to bully these companies, being like, oh well, we download, like people download this on your store like 500 million times or whatever this year, and they're like, well, if you're not gonna give us a cut, we don't give a shit. So either pay up or gone. And the courts have already started favoring towards Apple's side already. So I don't think Epic's going to win this at all. Like, not a chance.
It's going to be kind of crazy to see the conclusion of it all.
It almost reads like a popularity stunt.
Yeah.
Like Epic trying to do this stuff so they can blow up on Apple and Google and all this. And it's extra funny because, like, the majority of Epic's owned by Tencent. And Tencent's a company that is known for greed and not like anti-competitive work practices. And for example, like even the Epic Game Store itself buys like games off other platforms to make them exclusive on their own store. Like that's not okay in comparison to like anti-monopoly laws, right? So they're kind of hypocrites in a sense.
It's crazy. It's honestly crazy to think about because I hear that Epic's not paying people who have like creator codes and stuff like that. I hear like there's like a big pause on that since the lawsuit's going on, and it's just like, we know you have a shit ton of money, Epic. Like, I'm pretty sure you can afford to pay these people off.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't
Especially
make
if
any
they're
sense.
advertising your game. They have their content creator code able to be used, and people are making purchases solely to support these content creators. It's just like, give them their money. That being said, I mean, I feel like we can basically have a whole podcast discussion on Epic versus Apple and Google.
Yeah, it's a big topic.
But let's just end it there for that. We get a nice little breeze through it. So when we're doing these podcasts live, we probably will have a break segment where we just take like a 5-minute break and then come back. But since we're doing the podcast, this very first one is not going to be live, so we can just do a break and then cut to where we start back off. So honestly, we do have some esports stuff to talk about and also some more streaming news. So let's just take a break right here. All right, so for esports, we got a few things that we wanted to talk about today. One of them being Call of Duty. So what happened within the past couple weeks? Call of Duty Championship had a $4.6 million prize pool.
Is that a lot for COD? I don't know a lot about the scene.
It's definitely the most so far. I think last year was 2 million, and they more than doubled it for this year.
Okay, so that is a lot.
This also had the league for the first time. So there's Dallas Empire, Atlanta FaZe, stuff like that. So the winners of this championship was Dallas Empire against Atlanta FaZe, which I personally, from the very beginning, thought that Dallas Empire was just going to run house, and they ended up doing so.
I don't know a ton about the COD scene, like professionally.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know a ton either, to be honest with you. But I have watched games play, and it was pretty entertaining from my perspective. That being said, as soon as this ended, teams started releasing players instantly. So Clayster got released from Dallas Empire right after they won.
Why would you can a player when you just got a dub?
I guess his scoring and how he did was part of the problem as to why they didn't do as good as they did, I guess. He had the lower stats for just about every statistic, I guess you can say. I don't have them pulled up right now.
Team, and they were like, well, even though we won, we still want to improve, so you're gone.
Yeah, he had like the lowest KD and lowest scores and stuff like that. So
that sucks.
They got rid of him. I mean, hey, he still won a championship. He still got the ring.
It's not like he did nothing, you know.
Yeah. After that, Surge also released 5 of their players, and Ultra dropped the majority of their roster. So they're already getting ready for Cold War, which Cold War just announced that they're doing the 4v4 format.
I saw that too.
So, I mean, Dallas Empire, especially, they can just use the team they have right now. Drop Clayster, 4v4 situation here. Don't need them. And boom, there you go. The thing about Call of Duty switching over to 4v4 from 5v5 is it allows the players to be seen a little bit more.
Exactly.
You can recognize the powerhouses and such, and I mean 4v4 situations are a lot better to be seen than 5v5. So yeah, Call of Duty, I mean, we're not too experienced on the esports scene of Call of Duty, but I figured I'd throw some news out there in case anybody was wondering or didn't know about the most recent championship that happened. Valorant is one of the bigger competitive games going on right now. There's been a lot of tournaments and stuff. Also, Valorant's taken CSGO players. It's taken Overwatch players just to be hopped onto the Valorant teams.
Well, I think Overwatch players are probably looking for any other game to swap to anyways.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, they have the biggest players from Overwatch, like Sinatra, just leaving, saying, see you, Overwatch, I'm going over to Valorant.
Yeah, there's
And
not a whole lot to keep Overwatch players there, right? Like it's an old game now. The
yeah,
game hasn't had a ton of change in a long time, and now it's like Overwatch 2 is coming, which is just like revamped Overwatch 1.
yeah, and I even heard, I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but I heard that they're thinking about just canceling Overwatch 2 from being made. So who knows of what the future of Overwatch can be?
And
Uh,
I've played, and it's fun, man. Like Overwatch is a good game, but I don't know. I haven't played in a long time, so it might just not be the same anymore.
I remember when Overwatch first came out, I was like, you know what, this is gonna be my game. I'm gonna grind it out. I'm gonna try to be as good as I can. And I I stopped playing it pretty early on. That's probably one of the games that make me more tilted than any other game I've ever played. Because if your team isn't working together at 100% of the time,
It's really
it's
hard to
just
carry.
about impossible to win because carrying in that game is extremely hard.
You have to pick like a hard frag, like a tracer, or soldier, or McCree, and even then, like you're still not gonna get like a free dub just because you picked one of them and you're doing well.
Yeah.
Because it takes more than one guy to get the point back.
And one of the things that makes me possibly a little interested to going back into Overwatch is one of their new, well, it's not really a new update. It's been going on for a while now, but it shows how long ago I played ranked. They make role selections now, so each team has specific roles that they lock to, and you're
Okay.
only allowed two of each role. So that kind of changes up the meta a lot. You can't have a 5 tank team, you know. It needs to be 2 tanks, two um attacks, and two healers.
I bet it takes forever to get games though, with like people quitting out. Cause like, oh fuck, I didn't get attack or I didn't get my hard frag this game. I'm quitting. I'm getting a new one.
And it's kind of like a dungeon queue on an MMO. Like
Yeah.
if you're choosing that you want to be a DPS player, you're gonna have to wait longer. But if you want to be a healer, you probably don't have to wait long at all. Um, so it's a cool little addition they added to. I think it's from what I've heard, I think Sinatra especially like hated this change and is one of the main reasons why he left. He couldn't get used to the role selection. Um, so it could be helping, it could be hurting.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I guess you gotta look at the majority though. Like, even though he's probably the most popular Overwatch player, if 99% of the people like it and he doesn't, then they're still gonna do it. But
yeah.
I don't know what the general consensus is either, so I don't really know if that's an accurate statement or what. It's
So
probably not an accurate statement.
so since Valorant has came out, it's been grabbing players from literally all the competitive games such as CS:GO and Overwatch. Even I think they took a couple Call of Duty players. Could be wrong there. Um,
Which is kind of like weird because the general consensus of Valorant is it's not doing that well, like player wise. Like there's not that many players. Like, that's what I see on Twitter all the time. People saying that, and I don't know if that's, that's people on Twitter, right? That might not be grounded in facts, but to my knowledge, the players isn't nearly as much as like you thought it was going to be. Like people are like, "Oh, CS:GO will be dead," and CS:GO is
yeah.
still huge, and Valorant's just on the radar, but not like splashing like it everyone thought it would.
That's the thing. CS:GO is never gonna die. Nobody's ever gonna take the CS:GO position, but Valorant put up a good fight, and that's for sure. I did notice that as of right now, it does take a lot longer to find a Valorant match than it used to. Um, that could just because of like skill base changing, or there might just not be as many people playing right now.
Yeah, well,
But you still do find the matches, you still get in games. I see a lot of people streaming it, and I don't think it's hurting right now. But the playership has definitely gone down from their beta, which was probably the highest it will ever be, was during the beta.
I think we can swap over to talking about streaming stuff, and I think we should start with specifically with Twitch Sings being shut down. I never
Yeah.
used Twitch Sings myself, but I do know there's a lot of people that have, and I knew it was big. Like some people were on there and they were like loving it, dude. Like, this is the best thing Twitch has ever done, type deal that people thought.
Yeah, they had some Twitch Sing competitions. I remember seeing that, and just actually recently I was like, I was talking to a few friends and we're like, yo, we should get some karaoke night going somehow and like involve Twitch Sings into it. And at the end of the year, Twitch Sings is going. It's gonna be gone. So it's definitely something that I never used, and I guess I never
Never
will be
will.
using
Yeah,
it unless we
exactly.
do it soon.
uh, and that's replaced with the watch parties thing we were talking about before the show, but
Yeah, so with the removal of Twitch Sings, they're introducing Twitch Watch Parties, which has been a thing for partners, but they're adding it for everybody now. I'm not sure if you need to be an affiliate or not, but they are adding Twitch Watch Parties. What that basically is you need to have a Amazon Prime membership, and the viewers who are attending your Twitch watch party also have to have the Amazon Prime membership. And you guys can watch some movies and series together with your stream, such as Giga was saying he's watching The
the
Boys. He
boys,
could be
yep.
watching it with his boys on Twitch.
To me, it's almost like, yeah, I don't know, like who doesn't have Twitch Prime these days?
I know.
Like everyone orders off Amazon, and Prime shipping is like a must-have.
It's Twitch Gaming now, isn't it? Or yeah, Twitch Gaming. It's not or not. It's not Twitch Prime anymore.
Oh, like you mean they've like renamed
Oh,
the
Prime Gaming. I'm sorry.
Prime Gaming?
Prime Gaming is what it's called.
Okay, yeah.
It's not called Twitch Prime.
But everyone has, or everyone like to my knowledge, I thought everyone had Prime. Like it's so weird when I see like chats filled up without the Prime symbol, and I'm like, how do all these people not have Prime? And it's not like I think someone's poor or anything. It's just like,
Yeah.
to me, it's a must-have. I'm like, oh, I order stuff on Amazon all the time. I like having like the Prime Gaming access to that stuff, and you know, even though they did remove ad-free viewing, which I think is a ginormous mistake, especially now with ads being like the number one reason why people don't check out new streamers nearly as much.
Mm-hmm.
That's frustrating. Like half the time, I don't run my ad block on Twitch, so half the time I click on a stream and like, oh, I don't know who this guy is, and now I have to watch a 30-second ad. Well, maybe I'll just go click another stream or quit out, and that's just beyond frustrating.
Yeah, Twitch watch parties. I'll definitely try it out. I haven't really watched anything on Amazon Video, so I'm excited to.
Oh, Prime Video's got killer shows, dude. House is on Prime Video, man. You gotta watch it. If you haven't watched it, it's so good.
I remember watching House back in the day. But another thing is this is region based, so something that I can watch in the US might not be able to be watched in the UK or Canada or something like that.
Gotcha.
But it does say that most series are available in most countries. It tells you before you watch it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay. There is a few. There's even like YouTube stuff that are like region locked that I have to like VPN for to get access to it, which is like insane to me. Like I don't know why you'd ever do it. Like what's the point? Like it must be a copyright thing or like a legal issue, because otherwise I can't really see a reason why you'd want to do that.
Another thing that's going around on the Twitch universe right now is chess. Apparently that has blown up ever since especially Hikaru streams chess on Twitch, and she's just been throwing content creators constantly into the chess scene. Myself, I know nothing about chess. I've taken the time to try and learn it since I've seen it blow up so much on Twitch, because
I know how to play,
it's interesting.
But I don't know the advanced stuff. Like I'm not.
It's very interesting. It's fun to watch, and especially when they do like the tournaments and stuff. Like it shows like chances of winning for each character, and the commentators know everything that's going on, and they're like, oh, if he does this, he can do this, that's a win. But it's honestly, is chess going to be an esport somehow? Is it possible?
Big thing I saw about chess was when like Critical, Penguin Zero, whatever, like 2-moved XQC in the chess tournament. Like literally beat him in 2 moves, and like I remember like I watched his video and I'm talking about it, and then like he actually had got in contact with a professional chess coach and had learned these moves and things to do, and he was told like, okay, if XQC opens with this move, you do this, and then if he does this, you do that, and it's game over type thing. And I think it's called like Baldur's Gate or something like that is the name of the move. And anyways, he beat him in like 2 moves, and it was so funny because the commentators just like talking about how the game just started, and they were all like, and then they're like, what And then you see like Critical jump out of his chair and he's running, he's like sprinting because it literally got like it popped up checkmate on the screen whenever he won. They're like, "What? It's over? Like we missed it." It was so funny.
Honestly, though, the Twitch, the chess scene is blowing up, and I'm pretty happy about it because, I mean, it's one of the board games that should be seen. It takes a lot of skill and
ton of skill. It's crazy.
There's such a learning curve to it, honestly, and to see all these people playing it, it's an exciting time. So another thing about streaming going on right now is it's not really huge, but XQC recently was talking live on his stream, and he was explaining the 3 key things that happened to him for success on his channel. And number 1, this had to have been years ago, because these 3 key things that happened, if they happened today, I don't think they would. I mean, okay, one of the points would probably lead you to success.
Yeah, one of them is nuts. Yeah.
But the other 2 are just like, okay, those are cool things, but they're probably not going to lead me to partner within the next week, you know? But the first thing was a fatty 125 viewer host from Sinatra himself. So XQC, he used to be a professional Overwatch player, and he got into it for a while. I guess one time he was streaming Overwatch, and Sinatra gave him a big host of 125 players. That right there was XQC's foundation as to getting known. And I mean, as you can tell, Sinatra was barely known. He only had 125 viewers in his chat at the time.
Yeah.
But then he became to be the number 1 Overwatch player to exist. Or should I say the most known Overwatch player to exist.
Yeah, 125 now, like that's a good amount. And obviously if I got 125 people in the chat, I'd be like, "Oh my god, this is insane."
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not like enough to get partner unless that's like your new thing, 100 plus every stream.
I literally had half of 125 viewers on my stream once, and I thought it was one of the coolest things that ever happened.
I had over 100 like a few times on Mixer because of like hosts and stuff from other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like, oh my god, because on Mixer, if you have 105 viewers or 110 and you're playing a game, yeah, you're literally like, I was like literally number 1 for Siege.
If someone wants to watch Rainbow Six Siege, they're clicking on your stream, and that's a lot of exposure.
Exactly. So you get a ton of new people coming in, and now like 125 on Twitch. Yeah, that's gonna move you up pretty far on the list, but you might not even be first page.
Yeah, I remember watching you on Mixer when you had the over 100 viewers. I was like, what is going on here, Giga? Like, how do you have so many viewers?
Over 100 viewers, but chat's dead, and I remember that. It makes me laugh.
It was honest. It was honestly awesome to see over 100 viewers in your chat.
Yeah, obviously they weren't, you know, like he just, that guy did, like, he runs an auto host type thing, and it's like real people in the stream, but he just kind of cycles it through different people. You know what I mean? So, you know, they have their computers on, but most of those people probably aren't watching at the time. So, but I mean, that is what it is, and Mixer was okay with people doing that stuff, because for one,
Mixer was okay with a little bit too much that was going on.
They allowed it, and they said, we don't have a problem with that, whatever. If people want to do that, that's fine. It's kind of like it's almost like, what do they call it? Like the hype zone. It almost reminds me of the hype zone.
The hype zone was one of the coolest features to be on Mixer for sure. And then it just died out. Nobody would watch it. I mean, you'd get hype zone for PUBG or something like that, and it's like
viewers,
like five people hopped in your channel for the hype zone.
And they probably,
when it used to be like 500, and you're like, oh, everybody watch me get this win.
It was sick getting the Siege ones. You get the fat dub, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god. And then it would leave, and no one would even stay, and you're like, holy fuck, this sucks.
That being said, I guess before we continue on this XQC conversation about the 3 key things, me and Giga were both Mixer streamers at one point. We were also both Twitch streamers at one point, and then we went to Mixer, and we went back to Twitch.
I don't think the switch was a mistake. Definitely not, because I got a lot of experience on Mixer and whatever, and
absolutely
gives you more people that you wouldn't have met otherwise. But at the same time, you could just say I could have met different people on Twitch and been okay too. So it is what it is. But Can't do anything about it now, so why worry about it?
You can also tell which one of us uses a green screen and which one of us uses our actual wall as the view.
The background's a mess here because I normally have a green screen up, so I'm just a professional streamer, I guess. And if you don't use a green screen, you're not even really a pro.
Not even a pro at streaming.
Okay, listen, bud. You have enough G Fuel there to be considered pro.
Yeah, probably. I got more than you think.
That's a lot. 6 is.
That's 12, a lot of G Fuel right there, and 13. I got a big tub on the sidewall. Plus, I got a bunch of empty tubs somewhere. But hey, G Fuel's life. This isn't an advertisement.
How much do you think you drink a day, G Fuel?
I try to just limit myself to like once per day.
Which once? Isn't like a scoop or two, like 2 scoops?
Yeah, scoop a day. Scoop a day.
How much caffeine's in a scoop?
I think it's like don't put me on the spot here, Giga, but I think it's like it's equal to a cup of coffee basically. Oh, so maybe like 100 milligrams of caffeine, maybe a little less.
And how many scoops would you get out of a tub?
I think they're 40 servings per tub.
Okay, so that's actually a good bit then.
Yeah.
So you got like a year worth of G Fuel behind you.
Yeah, they're 40 servings. But yeah, I got enough back there to last me a while. And I always say I don't plan on purchasing more, but I always do, so.
Oh, they do new flavors and stuff, right? So then you're like, oh my, I need.
Yeah, new collector's box.
Gotta need it. I saw you bought the Doom one, and I actually thought that was pretty cool, but I didn't pick it up.
Yeah. The Doom one, that's 300 milligrams of caffeine.
Per scoop.
So per scoop.
Holy
It's moly. A bigger scoop, too, so. I mean, it's spicy, too. Spicy lemonade is the flavor for it. But switching over from the G Fuel, let's get back to this XQC conversation we were having here. Yeah, so the first point that led him to success was the 125 hose from Sinatra. And then number 2, which I think this would make most people possibly
pretty big
turn into bigger streamers. A host from Tim the Tatman. And this was after he woke up at 6 a.m. to play with Tim all day. And they got 14 wins in a row. So Tim the Tatman's probably like, yo, send my viewers your way, dude. Like, you deserve this. This was a great time. At the time. What was that?
They were playing together at the time?
Yeah, they were playing together that day, and then Tim the Tatman hosted them right after.
Okay, so I thought from the way it was written in the notes, XQC woke up at 6 a.m. and he was grinding out, and Tim the Tatman saw him playing for like so long. And then he's like, "Oh baby, I'm hosting you now." And then after he got the host, he won 14 straight games.
Yeah. So they were actually playing together and got the 14 wins in a row.
That's killer.
So yeah, that, I mean, a 1,400 viewer host, that's ginormous. You can never expect that to happen.
1,400 would, like, even if you only retain 20% of them as like regular viewers, that's huge. It's like it's like hundreds.
The thing is, Ninja, he did like a test stream on Twitch a couple weeks ago, and I watched him. I was in his channel when he hosted a Call of Duty Easter egg hunter by the name, I think his name is like Geeky Pastimes or something like that. And I'm telling you, dude, this guy actually blew up because of Ninja's host of like 70,000 people going into his channel. He's just got like, he actually retained some of those viewers, and now he's doing better than he's ever done. I mean, to the point where Activision noticed him and stuff like that. So he owes that one to Ninja for sure.
And that's what I always say. Like, people that, you see a lot of people on Twitter, and they're like, "Oh man, like my stream's not doing so well," or "How do I grow?" or this and that, and and that's probably also their first post in a week. So that's like one of their starting problems, is they're just not showing themselves enough. And another thing is, if you don't stream that much, and especially if you don't stream regularly, like I usually try and go live at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time most days. So people are like, "Oh, look at the time, boys. I think Giga might be live," and then they can go check. And, it's like, 7:30, 8 o'clock, like, or I guess, yeah, it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock, whatever, Eastern time. People are like, oh, you might be streaming, and they can check the Discord and see that I'm live, or they can just pull up my channel. And I started doing this thing, which I find kind of funny, because it actually works, like, scary good. Is, like, I put, you know how there's the go live notification?
Yeah.
Well, I put in it first, I put $200 for first person to get into the stream. And you actually get, like, so many people that come in right away, and it's so funny, because they get baited like crazy. Obviously, I don't pay. It's just a troll. But and some people get really mad, dude. Like, actually pissed. Like, one guy was like, oh my god, it was so funny. And I'm like, oh, I guess that guy doesn't like me for the content. It just makes me laugh, you know.
Coming for the $200.
It is what it is, you know. I'm not worried about that. I just think it's funny. You know,
yeah.
Nice little troll like that.
So we can basically go on an entire stream for streaming tips and tricks and what we've learned throughout the years of streaming.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're going to do that. 100%. We're going to do that. We can bring on some guests. We already have some lined up. Talk about some Twitch streaming and how to better yourself, how to better your stream. And that'll probably be a amazing time, and it's going to be coming soon. I honestly can't wait for streams like that because I've learned so much. I know you've learned so much, and it'll be a fun time to discuss some of the things that we do to better our streams in general.
Oh yeah, plus get input from other people too is like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the last things that XQC explains that led to his success was him becoming a Twitch partner. And right now it's pretty hard to do. You got to stream. The streaming and consistency, that's all on you. I hit those numbers every month, every 30 days. I have it.
Yeah, you have to get back then you had to be partner to get the sub button, right? Like affiliate.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's huge back then.
So right now you need to get the 75 average viewers, which is the hardest part. I mean, 75 average viewers, that's a lot of people. And then you apply to become a partner. You just don't get it right away. So you apply, probably have to apply several times before they accept you in. But when XQC got partnered, his first day he got 13 subscribers. And back then that was a huge deal. I mean, hey, 13 people subscribe to my channel. I'm a partnered streamer.
Yeah, we both have more than 13 right now, but like back then that was huge. Like, holy.
I mean, 13 subs, hey, you're looking at...
Man, if I got 13 subs a stream, I'd be like screaming. That'd be nuts. So.
Absolutely. I'd be so happy about it.
Yeah, like that'd be insane.
And just to put into aspect right now, XQC pulls in on average at least 40K viewers right now, like every time he streams,
which is insanity. Like it really is just insane.
Actually insanity. But I just thought it was cool to bring up his what led him to success and how it's changed so differently now, because I mean, 125 viewer host, it's going to be amazing. It probably won't lead you to success as much as you would think it would.
It could be a good stepping stone, but I don't think it's
easily a good stepping stone.
Get you a partner overnight. No, definitely not.
I mean, but now, if you take away the 125 hosts and you say, hey, you get hosted by Sinatra, there you go.
Yeah.
Because now he's probably pulling in thousands.
Exactly.
If you get a host from Tim the Tatman, you're good to go. Good to go. And
maybe King George will host me one day.
If I had one tip for streaming before we get into an entire podcast about tips and tricks on streaming, it's consistency. Just make sure you're a consistent streamer. You're always putting out content as much as you can, and just try your best. Honestly, give it your all when you do stream.
I think my number one tip would be to put yourself out there. Like if you're not active on your socials or anything like that, or in Discords, or you're not talking to people, it's gonna be a lot harder for people to know your name. But then if you start talking with people and you make friends and stuff, then these are people that are genuinely gonna want to check out your streams and hang out, and that also builds relationships, which is obviously a good thing to have.
Absolutely.
You gotta have both though, like, you know,
grow yourself a community,
consistency, and putting yourself out there. And if you don't have those two things as your foundations for building your streaming career, then you're screwed from the start.
It's true facts right there. So that being said,
probably wrap this one up, eh?
That's the G.E.S.T Podcast there. We got the gaming, we got the esports, we got the streaming, we got the technology.
If anyone's watching to this end on YouTube, for example, please let us know. Put a comment down below, and let us know what you thought. I'll probably put some text at the start too, which you would have already seen about, asking for a comment on improvements that we can make, because we're going to take those straight to heart, because that's things that we want to directly do to help ourselves and help you guys enjoy the podcast better.
Yep, as a first episode, I'd say that we definitely have a lot of things to work on, but we kind of hammered this one down, and I can't wait for next week's episode, honestly, because it's a lot of fun.
Agreed.
Expect some guests on the podcast.
Guests on the guest.
We'll be putting more news and try to get some viewers' opinions and suggestions.
Well,
try to implement them into the podcast. Right? What was that?
Next one will be live too, right? So
yeah, we're going to be going live with these podcasts as well. It's a possibility that not every single podcast will be live.
Yeah.
But we are going to try our best to live stream these on each other's channels. Expect the podcast on YouTube, Twitch, being live streamed. Then you can put it on Spotify. We're probably going to try to go for Apples, things like that. We're going to try to put it everywhere.
Yeah, as many spots as you can get.
Listening pleasure.
Exactly.
That being said, everybody have a great night. This is the G.E.S.T Podcast with TommyNaysh and Gigabit Gaming. And see you next time.
Make sure to check out our socials. Bye-bye.